very warm welcome back to our YouTube channel. My name is Maria. I'm the founder of the New Mummy company based here in Oakville. And today I'm going to be unboxing the new Ameda Joy breast pump, which is this guy right here. If you are new to our channel, a very warm welcome. And if you are returning and you are one of our subscribers, I'm delighted that you're back with us again today. I'm excited to do this video because I've been waiting to do this video since they announced that this was coming on to the market. So today I have the unboxing of the Mya Joy, which is the newest pump that Ameda have brought out. And I'm very excited because I don't want to be down on Ameda, but some of their pumps have not been the most funky or attractive, whereas some of the competitors to Ameda have really gone in that direction over the past couple of years. So this is actually quite a pretty looking pump. So I'm excited to show this to you. The bigger box here is the same pump. It just comes with an extra hand pump. So that's the difference. That is the bigger box. So in terms of what's in here, exactly the same pump, but it comes with a hand attachment, which turns the pump into a hand pump. So it is one of these actions that sits on the top of the bottle and turns it into a hand pump, which is really handy for when you're on the go or if you get caught with your power out and maybe you don't have battery operated. So here we go. This is the Mya Joy, the newest Ameda pump. On the top of the box, it explains to us here what we've got in the box, and it is one breast pump and accessories. We have two duckbills, as we call them, which are the valves, two membranes, which are these guys here, which create not only the suction, but create a barrier. We have two bottle stands and the power supply. So, like I said, very small, nifty little box. And if we open up the box, this is a brand new one, it's not been opened. We can see that in here we have our box, little bag with all of the accessories that we were expecting to see. And then we have the power supply in here, which is actually a really small little power supply. So this is very, very user friendly, very light, very small. So when you're traveling, this is going to be super helpful. And then we have the pump itself, as we see here. And then we have the quick start guide. We also have a little bag like so. We'll have to figure out what the bag is for. And then some spares. We have some spare membranes and some spare valves, otherwise known as duckbills. So that is the contents of the box. So not a huge amount in the box. So let's open the bag with the pump in it. And as you can see, it's very small and very nifty. It reminds me in size of the older Medela Freestyle, so very similar size. Comes with a very handy belt clip on the back, so you can attach it here or wherever else you might like to attach it. And at first glance, very simple and easy to use. We have a power button, we have an M button, plus and a minus. So let's figure out what the M button is for. Now I have had training, so I do know what the M button is, but I want to make sure that you are going through this in the stages that you would if you were opening it for the first time. So we start off with welcome to the Ameda family, important safety guidelines, caution. So I would encourage you to read those and make sure that you are familiar with those. And then we have the getting started guide. So there is going to be a timer that shows up here. There is going to be a stimulation level, arrow, level, and then the expression mode. So a lot of information is going to show up on the screen. As we said, this is the power button. The M is for mode, so that will allow you to change between the different expression modes. And then plus and minus is going to increase or decrease the suction. So That sounds super simple, very easy to use, which sounds very user-friendly. So in terms of what comes in the kit, doesn't look like there's a tear, so excuse me while I rip open the bag. I didn't come prepared with scissors because I didn't know how it was going to be in the box. Okay, so we have a set of breast shields. The valves and the membranes, they're all already put together, so there's absolutely no construction that you need to do to put it together. Now, I would assume, I haven't read this as of yet, but I'm going to assume that this is not a sterile kit. We do sell the sterile kit, and that goes with the rentals that we do on the Ameda Platinum, which is their hospital grade rental pump. So I'm going to assume, for safety's sake more than anything, that this is not sterile, so it would need to be washed and sterilized before you use it for the first time. However, because it is already put together, when you go to disassemble it, you will know how to put it back together, rather than having to take all the pieces, look at it for the first time and think, oops, how does this go together? So it's actually quite convenient that everything is put together for you. The biggest selling point for Ameda, just so I don't forget, is that these parts, the kits, so the bottles, the tubing, the flanges, the membranes, all of them are all interchangeable. So it doesn't matter whether you rent the Ameda Platinum, doesn't matter if you've had a previous older pump at home, such as the Finesse pump. This is going to allow you to interchange, because all of them have the same connectors, they all have the same parts, and it is really one of the biggest selling points, because there aren't many brands that will allow you to be able to do that. So this is definitely one of the selling points. So as you go to disassemble it, watch how they're put together so that you can put it back together. But I really feel like it's very, very simple. So I'm just going to very quickly take apart one. So as we take off the white cap and the tubing, this does not need to be washed nor sterilized. Reason being, this should never come in contact with your milk. So this does not need to be washed or sterilized. It may at some point need to be wiped down because it gets a little tacky because your fingers have milk on it, or it gets a little dusty, but it does not need to be washed or sterilized. There is no milk that will go through this tubing. A lot of people think that this is what the tubing is for. It's not. There is no milk that goes through the tubing, so you do not have to wash or sterilize. You do wash the membrane, the all-in-one piece breast shield or breast flange, the duck pill, which is this valve here. And just because it's almost translucent, they used to be white, now they're translucent, it can sometimes feel like it's maybe a little irrelevant, maybe it's not as important, maybe I don't really need it. Yes, you do, because without this guy and without this guy, you're not going to have suction. So very, very important. So these do need to be washed, because this duckbill, the valve in particular, this actually drops your milk into the bottle as it comes down the breast shield. So it'll go through here, down here into the bottle. So it's important that we wash this and we clean it properly in between each use, simply because milk is a breeding ground for bacteria, and it's really important that your equipment for breast pumping, because the milk is going to your baby, needs to be kept clean. So the bottle gets washed, the valve gets washed, the breast flange gets washed, the membrane gets washed. That's it. The tubing and the cap does not need to be washed. If you happen to need a different size of breast shield, these come in different sizes. So that's fine. You would just end up washing the different size. However, if you need to size down, there are two options. There are two inserts. One is the hard insert, which is 22.5 millimeters, and the soft silicone insert, which is 21 millimeters. So when you are pumping When you're purchasing a pump, renting a pump, it is always really important to be sized correctly, because if you're not using the correct size breast shield or breast flange on your nipples, you're not going to get the correct yield. So you may end up where you are not building your supply, or you somehow have your supply decrease because you're not using the proper sizes, or you end up with problems such as mastitis because you're not taking the milk out. So these are 2 inserts. So if you use an insert, they too need to be washed. So how does an insert work? That's a great question. So this insert just simply goes in here, and that takes it from a 25 millimeter diameter, which is the diameter of the tunnel, down to a 22.5 millimeter diameter. I have other videos where we've talked about what you're looking for when you're looking at sizing, and how do you know if you're using the right sizing or not. So I'm not going to cover that here, but needless to say, it is very, very important. If you happen to have incredibly small nipples, sometimes it's a cultural thing, sometimes it's just genetics, then you would be looking at the 21 millimeter soft insert, which goes all the way down the breast shield and it snaps on. So it actually goes on the outside, and as you can see, there's a much narrower diameter heading into the tunnel. And so this is how you would use the smaller inserts, or if you need bigger, you can also just change out this for a bigger size. And then there are inserts for those depending on which size you need. So just be aware that there are different sizes, and these are the pieces that you wash. So once you have washed your pump, sterilized your pump, you're going to put it back together. We need the valve, put on the bottle. Any bottle with a narrow neck will fit. So it doesn't matter if it's an Ameda bottle or it's another bottle. If it's a narrow necked bottle, it will fit. We then want to put the membrane in here, and then we have the cap and the tubing. And then that goes in there. And it also comes with the bottle stands, like we mentioned, so that will stand in there. Some people think that the bottle stands are not important, and that is until they spill their breast milk, and then you realize just how important it is to have the bottle stands. So membrane goes in the top, make sure the valve is on the bottom, and make sure that's not a nice and snug fit. Put the bottle back together. If we're using an insert, it would go in at this point, but for the time being, we can leave them out. And then the cap and the membrane goes on the top. Bottle stand in. Now we do have a bottle cover. So this comes with a flat cap, so that if you wanted to just put your milk directly into the fridge, you can do that. And like I said, it also comes with spare valves and membranes. Keep those, don't throw them away. They are important, and depending on how frequently and how often you're pumping, you will need to replace particularly the duckbill valve at a regular interval. The valve should stay flat, and then as it drips, it opens to let the milk drop into the bottle. If the valve is not staying shut, if it's sort of sitting where it's a little bit puckered, a little bit open, that's when the suction will start to dwindle on your pump, and that applies to any Ameda pump. So if the duckbill is sort of sitting where it's open a little bit, that's the time to replace it. Or if you notice that your suction has decreased, then it's definitely time to replace it. Maybe about every 3 months or so, again, depending on how rough you are with washing your pieces and how often you're washing and sterilizing them, but obviously how often and how long you're pumping for. So then we take the dual connector. Now this can also be a single pump, and it can be a single pump just by removing one of the tubes and getting the little cap over this here. So now we have it as a single use pump. Because we've capped off the other side, there's no loss of suction. If we were to take off the other tube and not cap it, then you would have loss of suction. Goes into the side of the pump. That's the plug side. Goes into the side of the pump. And now I have it as a single pump. So if I have fed baby on one side and I want to pump from the other, this is why you would single pump. If, however, you're trying to pump both breasts at once, you open the cap, You put the tubing back on and slide the tubing all the way to the base to make sure that it is fully on. The plug and the power supply, like I said, very small, very nifty, very light. That will go on this side, and then you put it into your power supply. Very simple to use. Power supply mode, plus, minus. Couldn't be simpler, and it's actually quite compact. So as you can see, it is probably just a little bit larger than the size of my hand, and it is probably less than 2 inches deep. So very small, very compact. So a great little pump if you are on the go. I haven't had much experience of using it because these are new to us, but I look forward to hearing from you in terms of your experience with this. We do really value the Ameda pumps because they are a very well-known brand. They do work incredibly well. There is a really good supply of spare parts for them, so the duckbills and the membranes, etc. They're not expensive to replace. We obviously rent the Platinum, and we have never had an issue with it. It's a very, very, very good pump, and so we're very proud to stock these as our secondary pumps when it comes to needing something that's a little bit more portable rather than the Platinum, or having a pump that you graduate onto. Maybe you're reducing the amount of times that you're pumping, or you just want something that's more transportable because you're getting out and about a little bit more with your baby. So that's it. This is the Ameda Joy. I think that this is a very handy, and I've said the word nifty. I feel like it's a really nice little pump, which I think a lot of you will enjoy. And from a price perspective, I'm not going to quote the price here because obviously the prices can fluctuate, so I don't want to have to get people commenting later that the price is wrong. We will put a link to our online store so you can check out the price, but I will say it is very, very competitive, and I think you'll be quite surprised that for a pump that is providing you with the opportunity for the kit to be interchangeable with other Ameda pumps and is very portable, is brand new, I think it's very pretty, and will really do what you need it to. I think you'll be quite surprised. So go check it out, and I would love to know, have you used it? Have you thought about using it? What was your experience with it? Do let us know. I hope this video has been helpful for you. If it has, love a thumbs up. It's always good to get those thumbs up. And if you're enjoying our videos and you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, then please do hit that subscribe button and join us along as we bring you new videos every Thursday morning. So until next time, thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.